Hi, gorgeous, and welcome to the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama Show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host, feminine energy expert, health coach for women, registered holistic nutritionist, and the creator of the groundbreaking health and mindset program for moms, Energized, designed for perimenopausal women who are done having kids and are ready to get their confidence, energy, and sexy back. Ladies, think about it. What would the world look like if, as women, we stopped being so harsh on ourselves and instead felt more energized, powerful, confident, and more connected to our bodies? What if, as women, we honored the fact that we are built and wired differently than men, and being different does not mean being inferior? That the go, go, go mentality, alongside doing more to have more without ever pausing and resting, only leads to chronic stress, anxiety, burnout, overwhelm, lack of joy, and corrodes our health, relationships, and vitality. What if, as women, wives, and mothers, we had the courage and confidence to desire more? More freedom, power, energy, joy, abundance, pleasure, fun, play, and sex, all on our own terms. Mama, you deserve to feel good. You deserve to form healthy relationships, and your body needs, craves, and deserves pleasure. This is your birthright. You're here because you believe in your feminine energy. You're here because you care about health and the environment, and you're not afraid to take action and change. You're here because you don't want to pass on a pattern of self destruction, hiding, and not speaking your truth to your daughters. You're here because you're done feeling stuck, living a mediocre life as a half woman. You're here because you are done struggling and, frankly, can no longer afford to feel like crap. Each week, I will be here for you, dropping a healthy dose of inspiration and motivation, as well as introducing you to my brilliant guests, where we will dive deep into all things womanhood, feminine power, energy, psychology, holistic and alternative health, food, nutrition, hormones, fitness, mindset, motherhood, relationships, sex, business, and much more. So, Mama, are you ready to take back control of your health? Let's do this. Hi, gorgeous, and welcome to another episode of the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama podcast. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host, and welcome to Manifesting Your Dream Body. Today's episode is an interview I've had with Emily Whiteside. Emily is a spiritually aligned alignment coach guiding women to elevate into their next level income, impact, and confidence. Emily's work helps to create transformational shifts in mind, body, and soul through mindset and using the power of manifestation. She combines energy, mindset, strategy, and total body health to manifest the life, business, impact, and income of your dreams. Here are some of the highlights of today's episode. You will hear Emily's story of healing from eating disorders and how she had manifested her dream body. And she's only 27 years old, and I love how she was able to use spirituality in order to serve herself and heal from such debilitating, such disorders. You will also hear her definition of manifesting. I'm noticing that manifestation means different things to different people, so I made sure to ask her that. So that's interesting. What does Emily wish women knew about manifesting and her message about manifestation? She talked about what is alignment and how to know that you are aligned, how to know that you're living in the flow. And she also shared her steps that she went through to manifest the body of her dreams. So you might want to stick around to hear that. We talked about self-trust and what happens when we're deeply engaged in the act of manifesting something that we really desire, as well as what makes her feel confident, energized, and sexy as a woman. If you're working on manifestation or manifesting the body of your dreams, you're absolutely going to dig this interview. Emily is a fun and relatable person, and she's doing some great work in the world with women. So, without further ado, here's my interview with Emily Whiteside. Enjoy. Welcome, Emily Whiteside. From what I have learned online about Emily, you are a spiritually aligned business and fitness coach, guiding empowered women to elevate into their next level income, impact, and confidence. And I love how you are combining health with business and really providing for ourselves in life. So I'm super excited to talk about that. So before we get into today's conversation, I always love to start with the story. So what makes, a woman like you, like yourself, even begin this journey, offer this kind of service? How did it happen? What life trajectory led you to where you are today? I would love to know that.
Absolutely. First, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to chat today. So I'll make a long story short, but basically throughout high school, I had a lot of eating disorders. I was anorexic. I did the purging, I did the not eating and over exercising all of the time. And I had a really, really low confidence, a lot of unworthiness feelings there too. So when I got to college, I definitely gained the freshman 15 that we all gained, but mine was a little bit more because when I was gaining that freshman 15, I went from, a massive eating disorder and being super, or I don't want to say massive eating disorder, but I was in an eating disorder and I was super, super skinny. And then, I gained like a healthy weight. I looked healthy, but to me, I had that body dysmorphia. So all of a sudden I looked in my own eyes, I looked like I was overweight. And I really started to experience a lot of insecurities in college and was always telling myself, I can't do certain things. I'm never going to be like that person. And I shut myself down a lot. So I've always been into fitness my entire life. It was a huge part of my life. After I graduated from my bachelor's degree, I started to stress eat and I started to binge eat because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I think a lot of people get to that point where, I had all these aspirations to actually be and go to veterinarian school. And I got into veterinarian school. And a couple months before I was supposed to leave, I decided that it wasn't for me, that it wasn't my passion. So then I was just kind of like thrown out there and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I felt like I was just going to be like, end up in like a job that I hated. And because of that, because of all that stress, I was stress eating and binge eating even more. I gained a ton of weight and I ended up actually gaining so much more weight for me. I was at my very, very heaviest and I felt like my life was going to be completely over and it was just going to keep going and going and going. And, my bank account was dropping, but the weight on my body was going up and I just couldn't understand how I got to this point. And eventually I started getting into spirituality and I manifested my dream body. I always tell people I manifested my dream body. I lost all of the weight that I had gained. I'm normally 120 pounds. So I think it was like 25, 30 pounds I lost in 6 weeks by literally manifesting my dream body through affirmations, through spirituality. And then I started my business because I got passionate about something and the rest is over.
Yeah, that's interesting. How old are you today?
I'm 27.
Oh, yeah. You're young, but I noticed that around that age, something happens with women who go through sort of like a restructuring of life, or what we thought was quote unquote the right thing to do. So it sounds like you definitely went through that. How do you define manifesting?
So manifesting, we're all doing manifestation every single moment, but it's just your thoughts that are creating your actions, which create your reality, your current reality. So at that point in my life, the weight gain and the broke bank account and everything that I was doing was just an accumulation of me not believing in myself, and of me just constantly telling myself that I'm not good enough.
And why do you think you were telling yourself that you're not good enough? What was behind all of that?
I think it was just from I don't know. I was always a really, really shy kid when I was in elementary school and in middle school. And, I always just felt not good enough. And I think it came from, I watched my mom, who was always in really good shape. She always had like a six pack and she was super into fitness. And I always heard her say, "Oh, I'm fat." And she would look in the mirror and say, and I remember like being on her bed as a small kid and she was in her sports bra. And I have this memory so clear in my head. But she was holding her stomach, which there was like nothing there. And she's like, "Oh my God, look at all this weight I'm gaining." And I just remember thinking like, "Oh, that's strange." And then, I constantly heard from my dad, and my parents are both amazing people, but I constantly heard from him that, the reason that other people are successful is because they just got really lucky. And that was a story that he still plays a lot in his head. And so having both of those with like, you have to work really, really hard to see results, and that I'm not a lucky person, so I'm never going to actually get where I want to be, but I still have to work really hard, and I'm fat and ugly. All of that stuff kind of, I think, was the force behind it. And then it just kind of gained momentum.
Yeah, okay. So I'm glad that you, that was actually where I was leading you, because it's very, very likely, and I see this in my practice all the time, that when women struggle with body image and eating disorders, it somehow, it somehow leads us back to, our childhoods, our relationships with our parents, our moms specifically. So thank you for saying that. And also, since I know that you are not a mom yet, I was thinking how what angle I'm going to take this interview on. And I've realized that you are bringing the perspective of the girls that we are raising. So for example, I have three daughters, and for me, and thank goodness that I got into this industry, early enough in order to be aware of, what it is that I'm saying to myself in front of them, in the mirror, and how I approach myself and how I take care of myself while, raising them, because they're watching, right? And like you're saying, like you've watched your mom and your dad going through life, and you kind of like pick up on those blueprints. And then, because we're also different, and we all have different perspectives, and we all perceive life differently, it sounds like that was kind of like the result in your life. Having said that, I'm super proud of you for transforming and really being on the other side, and also leading women there as well. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, okay. So what is, you defined manifesting, and I think, I personally still struggle with it in my practice. When I talk about manifesting, it sounds like woo-woo.
Mm-hmm.
People think it's kind of like we're oversimplifying manifesting. While I think this is one of the most powerful, it's the most powerful thing we have as human beings, I think, because we are the result of, of creation. We have the power to create, and we have the power to manifest. But when I share that with clients, it sounds like it doesn't quite click, because it sounds like, what do you mean? So it's as easy as just writing some affirmations and then hoping for it to just like happen. So I'm curious to know, how do you respond to that? What is something that you wish people knew about the power of manifesting, and how they can, maybe you can give some tangible advice on how to actually use it in our life?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is, we're not hoping that through manifestation, it's not just like I'm writing affirmations and hoping it comes. It's all about changing your structure and changing your program, basically. So our subconscious minds, we all have subconscious minds, and our subconscious minds are programmed with what we've learned from usually our parents, whoever raised us. At a small age, we don't really know what's right and what's wrong. Our parents who raised us, they're automatically right. So our subconscious mind is programmed in that way. So for me, it was, I was programmed to believe that you had to work really hard to see success or whatever it might be. I learned so much. So it's all about reprogramming your subconscious mind. And when you reprogram your subconscious mind, that's when you can start to manifest in the things that you want. It's a paradigm shift is what it is. So the reason that people feel stuck right now, it's because they're living out of everything that they used to believe, everything that they used to think, and then also all of the actions are the same every single day. So if you wake up with the same exact thought of, I'm going to be fat, and you have that belief that I am fat, and then every single day you have the same actions of opening up the bag of potato chips and watching Netflix after you get home from work, nothing is ever going to change, right? You have to shift your paradigm. So a paradigm is just a new way of thinking, and that's what manifestation is. You're changing how you think, and you start to change what you believe. So instead of believing I'm fat, you can start to believe that I don't have to stay fat. There's hope for me to get skinny, right? And I can do this. And through beliefs and through actions, you're literally changing what is shown in your physical reality. So for me, a tangible way to manifest is start with a morning routine. Like, that's huge. A lot of people I know, like, a lot of people, especially on your podcast, have kids, and it's not always possible to do a morning routine. So it doesn't have to be in the morning, but whenever you have this, like, 15 minutes you can dedicate to yourself of just dreaming up what you want. A lot of people don't even dream. They can't even dream of themselves looking really good and being in really good shape, or they can't even dream of themselves having so much money in their bank account that, they don't have to worry about money anymore. They don't ever dream about that. And if you never dream about that, if you never think that it could happen for you, then it's never going to happen. So it's all about using your energy and using positive energy to create what you want, instead of using excuses and victim mentality to stay where you're at.
Yeah, which, has comfort and has its own benefits.
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
yeah. So I know your podcast is called Infinitely Aligned. So you talk about alignment and the state of alignment. And I guess in my language, it's going to be called the state of flow.
Mm-hmm.
So would alignment be the opposite of feeling stuck?
Yeah, we're all going to feel stuck at certain moments. And I think that if you feel stuck right now, it's just because you are operating with an old belief that's no longer true. It's no longer serving you. So that's why you feel stuck. But yeah, living in alignment is just, you feel good. Like you're living your truth instead of, following, like, I always use fitness as an example because everybody can relate to it. Instead of following Trainer Joe's formula for weight loss, it's about trusting yourself in weight loss and learning that you get to make the rules. Like, I make the rules in my business. Therefore, since I make the rules, I can make money because it feels good. I make the rules in my body. Therefore, I can eat what I want, but I'm still taking care of myself. I'm not, like, out of alignment. A lot of people get confused and they're saying, like, you can eat whatever you want. So you can eat 20 donuts every single day. And it's like, no, because I'd be out of alignment if I ate 20 donuts every single day. That's not who I truly am. So alignment is just about coming back to who you truly are, without all of the conditioning, without all of the labels that you've placed on yourself.
Yeah. From my own experience, and I'm still evolving, for the ladies listening, please do know that this process takes time. And
Mm-hmm.
I highly, highly encourage you guys, and you've been hearing me talking about this long enough. This is a process that is like, here's the truth. It's a truth bomb. Brace yourself. This is a process that is, I'm not going to say almost, it is impossible to do on your own. Okay, I said it.
Mm-hmm.
I said it because I know that there is this kind of like, people like Rachel Hollis and other people, like they talk about, I've looked for the answers on Google. Yes, that's because you already didn't have victim mentality. So you could do
Mm-hmm.
that. But people who are stuck in victim mentality cannot bring themselves to taking the action that will take them outside of victim mentality, because it's, my husband always says, when you want to come out of the box, how does he say? In order to get out of the box, you need to be outside of the box, because the instructions to get out of the box are actually on the outside of the box.
Yeah, I love that saying.
And in order to see the instructions, you need somebody to take you out of the box. Like, you need literally someone who would guide you through this process of, how to get out of the box, because otherwise you're just going to forever be stuck inside of your own box. And whatever it is for you, it could be, feeling like you suck at parenting, feeling like you suck at, taking care of yourself, like you suck at marriage, like you suck at, at sex, like you have a low confidence, like you can be forever stuck there for years and years and years, until you decide that you're done. You're done. You no longer want to feel that like that. And then what? And then the best next step is to hire help, to hire someone who have done what you want to do, and then get them, and then just listen to them and follow their advice. Okay. That's my little thing. I just wanted
Super
to make sure
important.
I just wanted to make sure, because it's so, it's easy to give advice. And then I remember myself as being, a consumer of podcasts. And I would get angry, because it's not easy to, to take this kind of action, and also that it takes time. So the next thing I want to ask you is, you talked about a dream body, that you've manifested your dream body. So I'll tell you quite honestly, I kind of like, I have my own, whatever. I have my own beliefs around what a dream body is, but I want to hear your perspective on, what if, let's say it's a woman who, who consumes beauty magazines, and she sees Kim Kardashian's body, and she sees, I don't know, J Lo's body, like, and and whatever is trending now, and she decides that this is what a dream body is. How do you get to a place where you are not stuck in, what other people, or what, what the industry and what the media tells us what a dream body is? How do you find what your dream body is?
Yeah, absolutely. Thing your dream body. When I say that, people get super turned off, because, first of all, I'm saying doing a workout program to lose, doing it through my mind. So that instantly turns people off. And then I say off too. So dream body, you're not actually chasing J-Lo's body, Kardashian's body. You're not chasing abs. You're not chasing a toned body. You're chasing happiness. That's what a lot of people don't realize that. It's same thing with money. Like, we don't want money. We don't want money that just sits there. If I gave you $100,000 cash and I said, here you go, here's $100,000 cash, but all you can do is look at it, you can't use it, it wouldn't mean anything, right? Same thing with the body. I've gotten before, I was 115 pounds, I had abs, I had like the perfect body, and I was absolutely miserable. I hated my life. I hated my body. I was exhausted. I was drained. I was working out 4 hours every single day. I had eating disorders. Like, that's not how I actually wanted to live. So you're not chasing the body. You're chasing the feeling that you had that body. And the cool thing is you can manifest that feeling in right now. And as you get into alignment with that feeling, so for me, what I didn't actually want abs and a toned butt and toned arms. What I actually wanted was to be happy, and I wanted to love myself, and I wanted to feel really confident, and I wanted to be able to put clothes on and like look at myself and be like, oh my God, I look beautiful today, and actually feel that. That's what I wanted. So instead of chasing diets and chasing workout programs to manifest my dream body, and I'm doing air quotes here, but instead of doing all that stuff, I started to just feel. So I started to love myself. That was something I've never, ever, ever given my body. I would never, up until that point, never gave my body a compliment. So I started complimenting myself. I started doing a lot of self-care. I started changing my beliefs. And because I started to love the body that I was in, even though it was overweight for me at that time, I started to fall in love with it. All of the stress eating and the binge eating and everything else fell away. And I started to lose weight, and it was easy and it was effortless because I was no longer hustling for something. I was just in alignment with how I should have felt my entire life, but I never let myself feel that way.
Yeah, it sounds like you've gone through this like point of, I call it burnout, where you're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, that's it, no more of this.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually did you work with a coach, with someone who
At,
guided you?
no, actually I did that on my own. I've been a personal trainer since I was 18. I was super into spirituality. After that, I started hiring coaches. So I did the body on my own because I've had tons and tons of experience with it. And I actually did like personal development wise. I started just with books and podcasts, and then eventually to get to my next level, once I had the body, and it's like, I don't want to stop with just the body. Now I want the business. And then I started to invest in myself where I couldn't leave myself because I couldn't get out of that box because I've never been outside of that box before. I've never had a business before. So I've invested many, 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 many thousands of dollars in coaches.
I know, right?
So.
And with the blueprint that you've inherited, after your dad, it's like, oh my gosh, it adds a completely new layer, and it's so hard to erase that. It's so difficult. So difficult. Okay. So my next question is around self-trust, and you talked about that a little bit earlier. I just wanted to get to a place where I feel like it's the right time to talk about self-trust. So when we are deeply engaged in the act of manifesting something that we desire, where does self-trust fit in?
It's the whole thing. I mean, you're not going to manifest in. So I always tell people this, like people who want to manifest whatever, a healthy relationship or like money in their business, it doesn't matter what you want to manifest. But if you can't trust yourself in your own body, you're not going to be able to manifest things in and then keep it. So for example, if you can't trust yourself around a gallon of ice cream in the fridge, every single person, I always hear this, they're like, I can't keep X, Y, and Z in my house because if I do, I'm going to eat the whole thing. You're out of power. You're out of control. You feel that way, at least. You're not trusting yourself. That's what really happens. If you can't trust yourself around a gallon of ice cream, then when you start to make money in your business or you start to see progress in your relationship that you've been working to manifest in, it's not going to be able to sustain if you can't even trust yourself in your own body. That's the basis of everything in manifestation. Is like you have to be in a sound place in your body first. For some people that takes a few months, some people it takes years. I mean, me, it's like I'm always evolving in my body. I'm always learning new things about my body and myself. So I think a lot of people, like they get frustrated when things don't manifest right away, and they're like, oh my God, it must be because I'm bad at it or I'm not worthy of it or whatever it might be. And it's like, no, it's because you have to first get in trust with your body. Like get to that point where you can, do anything that you set your mind to in your body. Like if you say, I'm going to go to the gym today, you follow through with that because you're leading and you're nobody else cares. Nobody else cares if you're eating a gallon of ice cream. Nobody else cares if you skip the gym today, but you care deep down inside. So it's like holding that those rules within yourself and like following through with what you say you're going to do. Nobody else cares if you don't do those things, but you will. And that will show up in other areas.
Yeah, oh, that's so powerful. And I've heard one of your podcasts. It was so good. It was so good. If you can't trust yourself around a bag of chips, if you can't trust yourself around ice cream, or even, you know, with the portion control and all that, and you're like so in your head around this, it's true. Like, how can you then do bigger things? So that's where I see a lot of my clients actually work with me before they do bigger things. So I have a client who does, like, dreams. Her dream is to build an orphanage, and she started working with me because she knows that there are so many things that she needs to do before she gets to a place that, you know, where she can really sustain herself through, you know, in order to get to that place, because it's a big dream. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. It's possible, but there are some, you know, many different baby steps that, you know, a person needs to take in order to get there. And one of those, and I think it's the most essential and fundamental one, is, like you said, you know, learning how to take care of my body. Because if this body is not, you know, if your body, mind, spirit, if there is misalignment, then everything else falls. Like, you will always forever will continue this, you know, this loop. So true.
Yeah,
Love that.
absolutely.
Is there anything I didn't ask you that you wish to share with listeners?
I think that, you know, we see people out there doing what we wish we could be doing. I know that I used to get really, really jealous when I would see girls in the gym with these like really nice bodies, or, you know, after I got over like my body stuff and I started to fall in love with my body, then I'd get jealous of the person that was killing it in business. And it's like, I get jealous, but that's really like, if something's coming out of you because you see somebody doing something, that means that it's inside of you too, that you can achieve it too. So, you know, do the morning routines. It's super important. The meditation is super important. You shift your paradigm when you do things that are serving your next level and are no longer serving your old level. So for me, that was like meditating every single day. I still meditate every single day. I've been doing that for years now. That's a part of like my core. Like, I have to be doing that. So it's just making these things, these like healthy habits, I guess, and, you know, going for it, doing it, and then dream big. It might not come in a year, it might not come in 5 years, but it will eventually come if you keep dreaming big and you keep propelling all of your positive energy toward that instead of staying in victim mentality.
Yeah, love that. Oh, all right, Emily, now it's time for the second part of the interview. And this part is really all about learning, opening a window into you as a woman. So if it's okay with you, we're shifting now. Okay, so the first question that I have for you is, what is your definition of feminine power?
My definition of feminine power is just allowing so for me, I used to be so in my masculine energy. So I'm just trying to like reflect back on that. And stepping into my feminine power was really stepping into my alignment and stepping into what made me feel good, and not feeling like I had to rush around all the time, or not feeling like, especially in the gym, I mean, the gym is so masculine driven, right? There's so many men there. And I remember, you know, just working out, and it would be a gym full of men around me. And because of their beliefs of going hard all the time, and I followed all these like hardcore men who lifted weights, I started to adopt those beliefs of like, I have to push my body. And then I got into injury and I didn't feel good in my body. So I think feminine power is just stepping into your alignment and stepping into your truth and flowing when you need to flow, and not like doing all the things that people tell you to do.
Love that. So true. My second question is, as you know, this show is all about inspiring mothers, women, to own their power and feel more confident, energized, and sexy in their life. And I like calling it being a goddess. So I'm curious to know, how are you being a goddess in your own life? How do you take care of yourself, your soul, your body? What are some of your absolute non-negotiables?
Oh, yes. I love this question. I feel like a goddess every single day, but the first like 2 to 3 hours of my day, because I'm like privileged enough to be able to like have my own flexible schedule, or not privileged, but like blessed enough. My goddess routine in the morning is everything. And that's my meditation. That's my yoga. I work with, do face masks, skincare, and then making sure, this is like something new I've added to my like goddess like mentality, is making sure that I get dressed up and like wear normal clothes and do my hair and my makeup for work, even though I work at home. I used to make this excuse all the time that like, oh, I'll just stay in workout clothes, because I do yoga in the morning and then I go to the gym at night. So normally I'll stay in workout clothes. I won't put any makeup on and my hair will be on top of my head, because I'm like, I'm going to go work out anyways. But I felt like really like blah, and I didn't want to like look at myself in the mirror, and I felt lazy. So I've started to just make sure that I'm like changing my clothes. I'm getting into nice clothes during the day because I feel more productive, and making sure that I have a little bit of makeup on because it makes me feel good. So I guess just following what makes me feel good is important.
Love that. Love that. What makes you feel confident?
What makes me feel confident? Just my energy. It's just like I wake up, and this isn't something that I've always had, obviously, but now like I wake up and I don't even think about like what I'm going to eat or how I'm going to exercise or what I'm going to wear. It's just like I feel so confident just looking in the mirror, and just, I don't know, just my energy of who I am and who I've become.
That's nice. What makes you feel energized?
Coffee. I need coffee every single morning. I'm a zombie without it. What makes me energized? Definitely like my workouts are super important. My fitness is super important to me. My work energizes me because I'm in my passion and doing what I love every single day. And my partner energizes me.
That's nice. And what makes you feel sexy?
Makes me feel sexy. Oh, these are such good questions. I never thought about what makes me feel sexy. You know what? I feel my sexiest when I'm in workout clothes and I'm sweating my butt off at the gym. I don't know. That always had made me feel the sexiest.
That's nice. If you could give an advice to yourself, let's say 15 years ago, 10 years ago, what would that advice be?
Um, it would be to believe in myself, that you can do anything. Nobody, I swear to God, nobody when I was a kid told me that you can do anything that you want to do. Nobody sat down and told me that. And because nobody told me that, I struggled for many, many, many years thinking I had to follow what my parents did and what everybody else did. So I would simply tell myself that you can achieve and do anything that you want to do.
I like that.
Mhm.
I like to keep it real and show listeners that even though someone is an expert in one or maybe two areas or a few areas, they might be struggling with other things. So what are some of your current challenges as a woman?
Yeah. So I'm in a newer relationship, and I'm 27, so I've only been in one prior, like, long-term relationship. So this is a newer, like, strong commitment relationship, and I think I struggle a lot with not making him my ex. I do that a lot. And also, because I only have one person to compare it to. And I struggle a lot in the beginning, and still now, just like completely opening up and like voicing my opinion. And when I was single, I spent a year single, very, very single, but doing a lot of personal development work. And so now I'm just challenging myself to like, how can I still, do all the personal development work and stay me without and be in a relationship. I guess I'm trying to balance that right now, and not let his beliefs become my beliefs and all the work I've done change. So yeah, it's a work in progress.
It is, and it will forever be. I mean, I can tell you from my perspective, I've been married for 11 years now, and it's hard to find your own self within the
Yes.
relationship because we are so intertwined. But
Yeah,
it's
I think too, like the biggest thing for me is he's not into spirituality. Like I'm like a spirituality junkie. I love spirituality and personal development. And he's not really like into that at all, which is weird that we attracted to each other, but you can't control, I guess, who you fall in love with. So I think for me, the hardest thing is like I'm super positive. I'm a super positive person, and he loves to tell me all these negative stories about the news and like rant about all this negative stuff. And I think, you know, it's hard for me because I don't want to. I guess I fear that I'm going to fall backwards, that I'm going to start believing like all this negative stuff, and I don't want to do that. So I think that's what I'm challenged with the most.
so
Relationship in this relationship.
what is it that you like about him? What attracts you to him?
He's a good, his soul. He's a good person, and even though he focuses maybe more on negative things, he's very passionate about certain things. So he can focus a little bit more on those negative things because he's so passionate about it. But I know that he deeply, deeply cares for me, and he's just a very, very good person. So that's what attracted me to him.
Nice. All right. My next question is the mother-daughter dynamic comes up a lot in my practice, like we talked about earlier. Not every woman is a mother, but every woman is a daughter. So how do you think that your relationship with your mom helped to shape who you are today?
Oh, I love this question. My mom is like my number one person in my life. I absolutely love my mom. We've always had a really, really good relationship. So I think just her always caring about me. She's always somebody that I know I can go to when I'm struggling. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like always knowing like no matter what happens, my mom will always be there for me and always, love me no matter what. And it's so true. Like a mother's love is unconditional, and it really is. At least in my case, it is.
Nice. Yeah. And I'm curious how your evolution and your growth, how does that impact your mom, who it sounds like she struggled, she had some body image issues. How did that change?
So I think, that's a good question. The body image issues for her were when I was a child. And I think she kind of outgrew that as I was growing older, and she saw me kind of struggling with my eating disorders. But I think she definitely, like, she follows all my stuff on Instagram and Facebook, and, she's always telling me like, oh, I listen to your stuff and I'm doing what you say and I'm trying to meditate. So I think that it's all, wearing on her a little bit and makes it more, she's always such a positive person. So it's hard to even say that, like, I don't know, in my eyes, I feel like she's never really doing anything wrong. She's super, everybody out there, you guys would love my mom. She's like the sweetest thing in the entire world. So I guess that's kind of a harder question.
All right. My last question for you, Emily, is in one sentence, what is your vision for your life? What are you creating? What is your life's purpose?
My life's purpose is what I'm doing now, just helping women step into alignment and, being my happiest and helping women be their happiest. So, I'm continuously growing my business year after year, continuously growing my mind as well, and trying to create what everybody has always told me is impossible to have.
Love that. Where can people and where can people connect with you online, offline? Now is the time for that.
Yeah. On Instagram, I'm at Emily Whiteside, and Whiteside is spelled like the color white and then a side of a. Facebook, I'm Emily Whiteside, and I have a podcast, the Infinitely Aligned podcast, where it's like I love my podcast, so I share a lot of stuff in that.
Emily, you are amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for for whatever for all the beautiful gems that you've shared today. And I also wanted to really acknowledge all the hard work that you have done. And I can even say from my perspective, I have done personal development work after I became a parent. And it was so much harder.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So much harder to do, but I embrace it. I own it. This is my journey. So you are so, to use your dad's language, lucky that that you have done and are doing this work before. I don't know if you want to become a parent one day, but even at work, we don't necessarily have to birth children to mother people. But I just wanted to say it's such a blessing that you've done all of it before, so that you can step into yourself as as a mother, with like from a completely different place, and your kids will never have to, hopefully, be challenged with that. They'll have other challenges, but not that.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm an aunt and I watch from my
Mhm.
sister, so she doesn't have to do daycare because my niece is only a year old. I babysit my niece once a week, and I wake up in the morning, like 5:30 in the morning, and I have to go drive and go pick her up. And I'm just like, how do moms do it? Every single, after that, like Wednesday, I'm like, oh my God, like balancing the personal development work on top of it. So go moms, all of you out there who are like working on yourself and developing yourself and also raising a child or many children. And oh my God, I don't know how you guys do it, but I'm giving you guys props there for sure.
We're doing it exactly the way you did. You've battled your demons exactly like that.
Yeah.
One baby step at a time.
That's so true.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Emily.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. I had so much fun.
Wait, before you go, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you did, I want to know about it. So snap a picture of you listening to this episode and share it on Instagram or Facebook. On Instagram, you can tag me at Dorit Palvanov Coaching. So Dorit is spelled as Dorit, and Palvanov spelled as Palvanov Coaching. So it's all one word. Or you can use the hashtag Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama Podcast. You see, my personal goal beyond having amazing conversations with guests or hosting solo episodes is to increase the visibility for this platform and these messages to be shared and heard by women who need it the most. And there's no way that I can do this on my own. So I'm asking you, the incredible community of confident, energized, and sexy mamas, to help me with this goal. So whether you're coming to me through iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you're listening to the show from, please rate, review, and subscribe to the show. This would mean the world to me, and it's so helpful for other mothers who are looking for this information. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.